Settle in and grab a book, a comfy chair, your favorite nook with Kate and Court. Yeah, it's the Cozy Corner.
Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Court. Welcome to Kate and Court's Cozy Corner Romance Readers.
This is a podcast for lovers of romance and romantasy novels who want to go on a deep dive into their favorite genre. Honest discussions and salacious details, giving romance books the respect they deserve. We are two friends, actors, moms, and romance readers who like a bit of spice and everything nice in their books.
As we like to say, you don't need spice for a book to be good. Well, you don't need running shoes to run, but they sure do help. Hi.
Welcome back. Okay. So we left you guys on a cliffhanger. Welcome to
Mhm.
Romantasy.
Right.
Because we were like, it's too much to get through this one book
These are
in a
epic,
reasonable length of time.
epic books. They're epic. And if you're reading
They
it, like,
are.
I mean, you probably, it's not like I think that you just stopped and also haven't finished it. Like, you've read it, or if you just want to know what happens, then we did leave you on a cliffhanger because it really is that kind of book. Like these
Yeah.
huge fantasy anthologies, there's so much world building, so the authors can go so detailed. And then you have still the spice and the smut on top of it, but it does have such a big fantasy world building element to it.
Yes.
And so many details to get through to understand, or things that pop back up.
Oh,
That for my
so many.
ADHD brain is like popping all over. Like, right, this. And I have to say, though, a great thing about this is, like, I have read this years. I've read it already twice before this, and then rereading again to talk about it. You just live it all again. Like, it holds up
Yeah.
so strongly. Like, it is a
Yeah.
series that's worth owning, that you can go back to, that you can reread when you just want to dive into like a comfort series that you know you'll enjoy. This is one of them. This is why ACOTAR is such a big thing, and why so many people know it or tell people to read it. And why Coach Kate finally, when she jumped in this summer, because it's something that once you're in, it just becomes
You're
part of
in.
you.
Yeah,
You're
you're in a
in.
cult. You're in a cult. I mean, and
Yes,
I'm
it's a
not
version.
I'm not the first person to say that. Like, I got that from the internet, and I agree 110%. It's like a really fun one.
Yeah, like the best kind of cult fault.
Yeah.
That just makes you read a lot of romance
Yeah. A lot.
and romantasy and dive
Romantasy.
in.
Enjoy, like female heroines getting the
Yeah.
focus, getting to win. All right. So the third part
Yes,
of
part
A
3.
Court of Mist and Fury.
Yes. So we kind of ended when Rhys and Feyre became mates, when she accepted that bond, and they finally got us to the nice smutty cabin situation, which
Cabin.
was
Yeah.
so fantastic and
Ugh.
earned, and we needed it, and so good.
Mhm.
And then right away, they go back to meet the Illyri, like Cassian and Azriel, and that in the winter, because they are going to go meet with the witches in the human court. The witches have finally like written back that they're willing to meet them again.
The
The
queens.
queens. I keep calling them witches because they basically are, but the queens of the human court.
I mean, yeah, because they do have like a weird sort of like, they are the queens of the human courts, but like they
Yeah.
do have this weird like connections to power and like, it's
Yeah, they
interesting.
get turned. So in my head, and I think because they get power eventually. Anyways, the
Mhm.
queens of the human court are going to meet them again. And this is when they've decided that they're going to bring the orb to show them Valaris. So first, but the one like little detail that I do want to say is when he gets there and Cassian like makes him fight him to try to take the edge off before they have to go be around the
Yeah.
humans because
Love that.
yes, I love it so much.
Yeah.
And because he needs it, because he's so like protective of her now being made and like being away from, like, can't handle being away from her and having any
Mhm.
male look at her, or smell her, or talk to her. So they fight for like an hour, and then finally they can go and talk to the queens, uh, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And they go, and the queens reveal, like, basically, they're like, we're saying no, even though you wrote these love letters and reached out. And it turns out, even before Rhys told her that she was his mate, before it got revealed, he was writing to the queens, begging them to please save this place that his mate has loved so dearly, the human world, like asking for their help, revealing his heart, revealing the kind side of him that he's hidden from everyone for so long, really showing his vulnerability, showing the thing that only Farah and then Court of Starlight, the actually see. And he wrote these letters. And the queens still basically are there to get the secrets from him, and they've sided with Hybern. It's like, yeah, thanks for showing us, but no, he's better. We are going to go with him. No. But when they leave, the youngest one actually leaves the book on the chair with a note and says that Rhys's love letters like really touched her, and she believes them and wants this. And if anyone asks, they stole it from her, but she leaves them the book and leaves the queen. So they now have the book. It's so great.
Here's where I get the romance, you know? Like,
yes, the sweet. Well, and we were so far into that book, we didn't get to talk about, and I kind of like touched on, and so did you, but like Rhys's knowledge of her as his mate, when he recounts it, when he's telling her the story of like how much he knew. So he knew as soon as, and especially when Amarantha started to kill her, that's when he felt it. It snapped into place for him when he disappeared out of the, the court, the underground, whatever it was.
Yeah, under the mountain.
Yeah, under the mountain. It snapped in. But before that, like as soon as she even tried to kill her, he knew, like he could tell. But he always thought it was a possibility. He thought that she would die. And he sent her away. The reason why he didn't want her to break the curse for Tamlin is because he knew if she did, that Amarantha would hunt her down and kill her. And he didn't want that. So that's part of why he made Tamlin like send her away. And but it's he was always dreaming of her. It's always been her. And then when he found out she was human and fragile, like he just knew that was it. He could never have her and was like trying to protect her. And then when she showed up, he said like the rage that he felt when she showed up in the underground and how hard it was for him to contain himself. Well, she made that bond with Amarantha and like everything he went through in the emotions and how much he tried to help her without it being obvious. And trying to help her so that they could be saved. It's just like, it's so endearing and sweet when you see that side and how much he loved her before the bond even really was there and how much they were meant to be together. And obviously she crumbles under it all too and is just overwhelmed with this love for Rhys. And it's the sweetest. And then you see it with the queens. Like it's like at this point, they've just been like layering it on and layering on and layering it on. And this is why Rhysand has risen to be like the top book boyfriend because of...
Yeah, I have a question for you from the like tropes standpoint. So like what kind of a guy is he? Like what do we call a Rhysand? Or is he just Rhys?
I think I feel like he's his own. Like he's kind of morally gray, but not really because it's a fake morally gray. Like he's with his family and everything is pretty. He's almost, when it comes to her, a Cinnamon Bun or a Grumpy Sunshine. Almost. But I feel like he's his own his own thing because he's just so powerful and so much darker and literally would incinerate and kill anyone that touches her or talks to her. Like he's a protector. He's the like no one else can have her kind of thing. But then he was willing to give up for Tam. Like he is also selfless. So that's where I feel like he has that sweet cinnamon side.
But he's not really sweet though. Ever.
He is
to her, but that's
what I mean. It's just to her. So that's kind of what a Grumpy Sunshine is. They're only sweet to the girl. The Sunshine's only for her. To everyone else, they're grumpy.
What is a shadow daddy?
He's not really a shadow daddy. Zayden's a shadow daddy.
Okay.
Because a shadow daddy, like kind of in book one, but a shadow daddy is the one that like has no problem saying like I'm the bad guy here, I'm the villain, but like. So take me as I am. I'm not going to be soft for you. I'm not going to be sweet for you. Rhys doesn't do that. He is soft for her.
Just like I was like, oh, I'm getting confused. Okay, and
he just has shadows.
Xaden is from Fourth Wing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when you get there.
When I get there.
I'm trying to think if you've read a true Shadow Daddy yet. You haven't.
Rhysand. He's just the best.
He's the best. He's just the best. She wrote the guys in all of this, like Azriel, Kazian, and Shadow Daddy, like the Shadow Daddy. Recently, now that's just the thing I'm thinking of. No, it's so good. Anyways,
okay.
She leaves the book. They now have the two houses, and they come up with a plan that they are going to go to Hybern and go to the cauldron and nullify it. Amren is able to decode the two books. They're going to go. They're going to break the spell and take away the power of the Hydra and then basically take it apart. That's their plan. And Rhys is like really upset about it because he can't go in with them. He has to like winnow them to the edge, but because his magic's being tracked, he can't go with them. So the plan is
I love when this keeps happening with Rhys, and I think it's necessary for Feyre's development and for her to really find her, because he is so incredibly powerful that we if he's not blocked in certain ways at different times, then it's really hard to believe that he wouldn't just go and handle all of it, right? And that
Yeah,
then we
exactly.
have no story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go. So but before they're going, the city of Valaris after this meeting. Rhys is away doing something. It's her and Cassian and Ezreal, and it gets
Oh,
attacked by the Ators because the queens sell out the location
yes.
of Valaris, and so the king sends the
Because
Ators to
they're
attack.
pissed when they find out that the one left behind part of the book, right?
Yeah, they're angry, but they would have told anyways. They were already sided with
They were
Hybrid.
already
They were
they
already
were
so
gonna
like it
tell
was
it.
already a gamble to tell them about the city, but they really thought the queens were going to choose obviously to save all of the humans. But they
Yeah.
didn't. They betrayed them. And so the city gets attacked. And it's the first time Farah, because she's been training like crazy with Cassian,
Mhm.
she comes into her own power. Like they're like at first, Cassian's like, get back to the townhouse. It's safe, it's warded, like get there, get there, get there, trying to get her out while he goes to fight. And then she sees it and she's like, no, I'm not letting them take this fight on their own. And she decides to stay and fight. And she is able to tap into her powers. So like her water powers that she felt a bit when they were at the summer court and other ones, she's
Mhm.
actually like something unlocks for her and she can feel all her powers. So she turns the water into these wolves that chases the Ators and like drowns them down their throat, turns them into like eagles in the sky, attacking them out. Casey's taking everyone down. Amren's fighting like you see, like there are hundreds and hundreds of these Ators attacking the city and causing like
Yeah.
huge damage. And then finally she sees the one that brought her into the underground and the one that like kicked the shit out of her in the underground. And
Mhm.
she winnows to him. And she's already winnowing hasn't been like something she could do consistently yet. But
Mhm.
she can see him and chase it. And she winnows and attacks him in the air and pins him and like fights him and stabs him and is like, this is for Rhys. This is for
Yeah.
Emma. This is for each person. And then
So
finally
good.
for me. And takes him all the way down to like when they're about to hit the ground, like the second. And the whole time, Rhys is yelling through her bond, like, where are you? And then it gets bigger. It's
Mhm.
like, where are you? There. And she's not responding. She's blocking him. He can't get through. And she's just like, where I'm supposed to be. And like, boom, shuts it down. And there's also something hot about his like worry about her when he's coming, like,
Oh,
because she can see
yeah.
the darkness. He's finally arrived. The darkness is coming to like wipe out the city, but she's so focused on this one Ator not getting back to Hybern. Like, she takes him out. And so the second before he smashes the ground, she winnows away again and then like lands into a wall and smashes the wall. But basically, like, takes out that guy, has saved the city. And it's the first time she's fully in her like battle
Power.
power and how
Yeah.
amazing and feels like the city is also hers. Like, these are her people to
Yeah.
protect too, even though she's not anything yet. She is his mate, but
Yeah.
there's no title with it. So
Yeah.
they do this, they're devastated. They're like, okay, we need to go and like return the favor back to Hybern, go get the cauldron, nullify it. And so Amren's gonna stay because she has to protect the city.
Mhm.
And so they go. And obviously, it's a trap. They get to the cauldron easy enough. She does a spell, but she puts the books together, which Amren said, do not ever, whatever you do, don't put the two halves of the book together. But then once
Yeah.
she's there with the books, they're telling her, and she's like, yeah, Amren's wrong. These should definitely be together. They
Yeah, they
should be
basically begged
joined.
to be together. Yeah.
She does, and she loses herself. Like, she's chanting, her nose is bleeding. They're trying to pull her out. They're like, bah, bah. And it's a big trap. Jurian shows up, the human that was trapped in the ring with Amaranth. He's there, and he's like, like, how could you fall for something so obvious? And like, why? I'm surprised that you weren't smarter
Because
than
it was
this.
like the only option.
Well, they
That's
had to
always
try.
Yeah, you have to
They
try.
had to. And they thought it would be
And
simple. They thought they'd get in, winnow in, say like a couple of words, done, winnow out. Like, it'd be boom, boom, boom. And they
I mean,
didn't
now
know
that's
that
their mistake.
well, it is. And they didn't know that he got his book of spells back. So
Yeah. Yeah.
while they were trying to nullify the cauldron, while Durin's there, the king was weaving his spell to take their powers away again, like Amaranth
Yeah.
had. So
Which is always the case, right? The other side is always working at just as hard
obviously, I
as,
mean, that's
like,
why there's conflict in the book. So
Yeah.
and Rhys winnows in, of course, to do it. And
Mhm.
also at this point, so the night before she left, Rhys finally shows the ring that the mother that she had gotten from the Weaver, and she's like, my mom gave it to her and said, if my wife's not smart enough or fast enough to get this, then she's not worth being my wife. But I want it for
Yeah.
you. And he's like, we can be mates, we can have a wedding, we can have a ceremony, we can whatever you want. Or nothing, like whatever you need. And she decided that she's like, well, do we need to hide this one with Hybern? He's like, yes, if they smell us close together, they'll know we're mates. And they're trying to still keep that on the down low.
Mhm.
So she's like, I'll wear it when we get back.
Mhm.
It's kind of the essentially, and he's like, and if I want to take it a step further than that, and then she's like, I'm listening. And we don't really know what that is yet, but that's like the hint we get. And then the next day they go to Hybern and all of this is happening. So when Hybern gets Durin, brings them up, all of them are there together. He's shot Azriel with an ash arrow that had poison in it. And the poison is controlling, it can be sent anywhere in his body, and King Hybern is in control of it. And that's how he gets them all to come with them. Because they could have battled back when they first got with Durin and that, but Azriel would die. So reluctantly, they all go in front of him. And he reveals, he's like, well, now that I finally have you, I've held up my end of the bargain. And out comes Tamlin and Lucian. And it turns out fucking Tamlin, has made an agreement with the king, a bargain, that the king can have his land and come in through the spring court into Corinthia if he would break the bond between Feyre and Rhys.
This is the culmination of the problem with fucking Tamlin. The whole time Rhys is like, your choice, do what you want, go where you need, even though they're true mates, right? Meanwhile, Tamlin's like, I love you, you're mine, he took you from me, treats her like property.
Oh yeah, the way he says it, he's like, Feyre, come, when he sees her in the room, as if she's just gonna go with him. The only thing I will say is that he's still at this point, aside from he's wrong every way, but he is convinced that Rhys has broken into her mind because that's his power and has made her fall. Because he, in his head, Rhys is so much worse and only knows the court of nightmares that Rhys has shown to the world. So there's no way in his mind that Feyre would rather be with Rhys than be with him. It doesn't make sense. He's positive that he has somehow fucked with her head and kept her. That's his own denial. But that's what he thinks. That being said, the way he asked her, like you're saying, he's just like, Feyre, come. And she's like, no. And he's just coming. He's like, break the bond, break it between them. And
and that he would make a deal with Hybern to get her back. that he would
well, what happens is because Lucian runs into Feyre in the woods when she's training with Cassian her powers, and he tries to winnow her away, and she refuses, and she turns herself into an Illyrian in front, she shapeshifts in front of Lucian, and he sees her power, and he says later in the book, he reveals that's when he went to Tamlin and was like, no, we need to find another way to get her back. And Ianth had already been whispering in Hybern's ear. As an option, and already been a spy, and so Ianth is the one that's like, we need to go to King, and he's the only person that can break the bond.
Really right. That's right. That's really where it sneaks in. Is Ianth is the total betrayer snake here.
Yeah,
that
she's
basically
awful.
Tamlin let into his court, and then he's being swayed by her. Meanwhile, she's working for Hybern. It's
from the get, she's a power climbing hungry. We can all see the writing on the wall with her. And she's what I guess, and also what's revealed a bit later, Tamlin's been looking how to break this bond. The reason why when she was staying with him and going back and forth before is he kept leaving because he was trying to find someone to break the bond. And it's come down to the only person that would be powerful enough to break this bond is King Hybern. It's literally his only option if he ever wants Feyre to not have to disappear once a month to Rhys. So he also thinks it's the only way to truly have her is to go through the king. Yeah. So, and in this, he tries to grab her to winnow away, and she winnows herself gone. And then they realize when that happens, because she goes back to Rhys, that's when all of a sudden they realize that they're mated. And the king thinks it's hilarious. He's like, you let her go only for her to find her true mate, and how interesting. And then he said, and the other thing we're here to do is to test the cauldron. And for the queens, the ones that you took the book, it's only fair you guys see this. And he brings out Feyre's sisters, which no one was expecting. Tamlin and Lucian are shocked about this. And obviously Feyre and all of them are like, what? And the queens are like, yes, show us that it's okay and it will turn us immortal. That's the deal they made with Hybern for them not to tell about Valaris and not give them the book, is that he will make them immortal. So all about power. It turns out Ianth is the one again that told the king about her sisters. She just betrayed, and they're begging, please don't. The sisters, everyone's fighting it, can't do. And then Cassian's trying. He lets out this light that shreds Cassian's wings, and even on the ground, he's dying. He's trying to reach for it to help Nesta and Elaine, and can't.
And at this point, when you're reading the book, the pages are turning so fucking fast.
At the end of the book,
just oh my god.
Yeah. It's insane. They're going, Feyre somehow can break the spell because she's unmade and made and is you can't hold me. So she's somehow able to do it. But the king sends his light. And that's what stops her again from destroying them when she's broken the spells, is because he has her sisters. These things that keep getting in their track so that they can't actually fight back or do anything but watch. And they're forced to watch him put the sisters in the cauldron. They literally can't stop. And even Tamlin is trying to like, stop it, stop it, stop it. He doesn't. He does it with his sisters. She sees that. She sees Cassian dying, Rhys on his knees, Azriel, and she comes up with an idea. She realizes she has the power to like do something about this. And she lets out this bright white light that she gets in the summer, and it lets her cause this big light. No one knows what's happening. And when she's doing it, she's able to break all the wards so that her family will be able to winnow out. And after it does, she falls and she's like, I said, you're free, Tamlin, and runs to Tamlin and puts on the show of like, I'm free from him. Please take me home. And Tamlin is just so relieved that it seems to be back to herself. He doesn't like question it. Lucian's looking at her a little bit like, And then she looks to Rhys and is like, play along with me. Like, and so Rhys doesn't miss a beat. He's just like, how'd you do it? How'd you break free of like my mind control? And she's like, I just want to go home. And then Tamlin just agrees. He's like, okay, break the bond. And he thinks that the king is going to break their mating bond now, not just the like bond to show up, but the mating bond. And so the king does this thing that is really painful for Rhys and Feyre and destroys the bond of the every week, the one they made in the underground, and like clefts it and the tattoo disappears from her arm and like leaves them both panting and like broken on the floor. And Feyre uses that as an opportunity to show them that they can winnow. I can't remember what she winnows to, but she winnows and does something to like make it. And more, all her family kind of starts to catch on to like what she's doing. So then more quickly winnows to the sisters right before Lucian looks at Elaine and is like, you're my mate.
Oh my God. That part was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So Lucian is mated to Elaine. And even that, the king is like, interesting. Like, how does this keep happening? And winnows the sisters away. Rhys understands right away, grabs Cassian and Azriel, winnows them away. It leaves. And then Tamlin and Lucian and Feyre leave together. Yes. That's like
now
essentially
one quick detail in there that was so interesting. Like Elaine goes in and comes out, and then Nesta.
Oh yes, I was getting to her. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna have you. Okay, go for it. Because I was like, wait, we can't leave that out.
Yeah.
Like,
Nesta, when she was forced in with Cassian, she is like fighting it tooth and nail. And as she's going in, she like lifts a finger and like points it at the king, like you. And she's like, I will kill you. And he even seemed unnerved by it. Like there was like, even the king was like, oh God. And she comes back out and the cauldron like shudders and was fighting it. And something's different. They see like a flash of something in Nesta's eyes that's like different than anything else. And something has changed, but we don't know what. And that whole time, Cassian is on the ground, like trying to get to her, crawling, even though his wings are destroyed. He's half dead, like still trying to protect Nesta. Then, okay, so everyone leaves. Yeah. Rhys and them arrive back at the court. Amren's there in Valaris, the townhouse, and she's like, where is she? Where is she? And they're like, she went. And he reveals that his mate and their High Lady, who he sworn her last night as the High Lady, is now plotting to destroy their enemies from within. He's like, because they're like, Amren right away is like, go get her. Like, what do you mean? He's like, go get her. And he's like, I can't. He's like, she is High Lady now, and she is doing her own task if I want to. And then Moore's like, are you mean to tell me that my High Lady is now in the hands of our enemies? Like, yes, like what I mean to tell you is my mate and our High Lady is like taking on the super dangerous task for us. Yeah. And it kind of like settles on them that that's what's happening. And that's kind of where the book ends. Is like them like settling that in.
Amazing and exciting, because we learned early on in the first book that like there are no High Ladies, you know? And
it was a thing. Like Tamlin dismissed it. So when she's like, well, they call me a lady, he's like, no, like you'll be the lady of the household. He's like, there are no High Ladies. Like that's not even a world. That's not something that could exist. But of course, because Rhys is the perfect guy in doing it, of course he wants Feyre to be his equal in every way. That's just who he is. And so it's there. But it was like this big to be like, no, that's not a thing. Yeah. So not only are they mates, she is High Lady. And I'm so glad, I don't know about you, that I did not read this book when they were coming out. Like that, cliffhanger would have killed me. It would have killed me. I was like, I would have been crawling against, is it the walls?
The rate of speed at which I read through the first 3 books was quite extraordinary. It's like one down, you're like, I need the next one. Like, it wasn't. The compulsion was not even really. It was like out of my control. It was like it's like a spell has been cast. Like
especially the pink and green. Like they really because the first one is that, but you're not you don't really know what the cliffhangers are
Yeah,
being left
you're
on. So you're
kinda
still
like
fine. You're kind of like in a happy ever after for a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
But these two are like, whew, like, okay,
Next book.
yeah, what's
So,
gonna happen?
I feel like
So,
on that note, we were gonna launch now into A Court of Wings and Ruin.
yes. Still have to make sure that's the
We're gonna
name.
I know, the pink one. But you have the OG cover there.
I do. And you know what's so cool that I just saw? This had OG art in it as well.
What?
So, yeah. I mean, I don't love the pictures, but that's
Oh, yeah,
original
yeah.
Rhys and Feyre. And then that is Amren, Moore, Azriel, and Cassian.
So interesting. That's not how I saw them in my head.
Well, no, it's not how anyone sees them. It's definitely changed since then. And
That's really cool though.
yeah.
That is very cool. Yeah, no, I see them all as more they're every single one of them is like so incredibly Caucasian in those drawings, and I don't see them that way.
True.
I never did in my brain. Which is I think is
No,
really
neither do
interesting.
I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never think of it as even that simple. Even with Faye in general, there's always a different.
Yeah, there's always like more, but I always just see like more of like a blend, like more
Oh, yeah, agreed.
just
And I have
different.
seen all the fan art on like Instagram and stuff, and now like
Ooh.
the AI fan art that people have made for Rhysand and
Yeah.
it's just like that's now what's in my head, which is just
Right.
so
Like a
much
little
hotter.
bit of that, but then I like sometimes want more I appreciate the AI fan art that people do, but then sometimes I want like more human, like more texture, like realness,
Oh, that's what I mean. The ones that like look like a real person,
Yeah. 'Cause
not
some of
like
them are
cartoony.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the real people ones that people have.
Yeah.
There's the odd one that you're like, oh, that was done well.
That's it.
That's
Yeah, or you're like or even if that's not totally it, that's an image I'll
close
lock
enough.
in my brain.
Yep, yeah, good enough. Good enough.
Totally. Okay, so now we're moving on to A Court of Rings and Ruin. Court
Yes.
has the OG cover there. I have the new like color copies,
Yes.
which is why I just like now that we've been doing this, I've been jokingly referring to them by their color.
Yeah, because you have to. It's too hard to like remember the names. I've got
too
Silver
hard.
Flames is the last one, and Akatar's the
Yeah.
first one, and then there's Mist and Ruins and Wings and things in between. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like
It's a lot. It's a lot. So we're gonna start talking about A Court of Rings and Ruin, and we might have to leave you guys on a cliffhanger and finish it in a second episode. We're gonna see because we don't like
Yeah.
our episodes to be too long.
yes, and these books are heavy. There's a lot, but
and they
we'll
have
try.
They have a lot. They have a lot going
Yeah.
on. So, one of the things, and since I have it right here in front of me, that I like as I was doing a quick kind of peruse through, and I opened it up and I went, oh, I forgot. Like it opens with Rhysand, like with his and 2 years before the wall. So we got
Yes.
just
so
so cool.
It's a backstory to see like how, and they're building in what happens in the war of this book and like the alliances with
Yeah.
Durian and with different people because all of it comes into play. And that's what we kind of started to learn at the end of this last book and this one is his
Mhm.
backstory and his like
Yeah.
story with Amarantha and like with his dad and how that all happened.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. It builds
And
up.
the backstory too of like why Tamlin hates Rhysand so much, like more than
Yes.
just
Yes, that
and
came
vice
out.
versa. Why Rhysand hates Tamlin so much, like
Yes.
they're
They're enemies,
Yeah.
and Tamlin's connection to Amarantha because their families were friends.
Mhm.
And then the two High Lords became kind of friends just over like existing in the same timeline as kids. And they weren't quite like they had siblings and people. They weren't sure who was going to be High Lord. And
Yeah.
they bonded. And then Tamlin went with his dad and killed Rhys's mother and sister.
Yeah.
And then Rhys went with his dad and killed Tamlin's father and mother, which he
Yes.
had made his dad promise he wasn't going to kill Tamlin's mom, but the dad did anyways.
Yeah.
And Tamlin's family kept the wings of his sister and his mother too, and kept them pinned like above the fireplace in the manor. And it's just really gross.
Yeah.
And like basically Tamlin's side struck first,
Yeah.
and they both got caught up with their families. And I don't know that either of them would have actually followed that course of action on their own either. It gives you like there's a thread
Exactly.
underneath it. Their
Yes.
fathers were both inherently evil and awful, and these two aren't quite as evil and awful as they were. But
Yeah.
then after we get like Rhys's bit of the story, if I'm going to try to get this in a
Here we go.
more digestible, I'm going to try to make this book digestible for you guys. I'm going to try to do an overview of what happens, and then we'll get into some of the details. But we go back into Spring Court, and it is so much fun because Feyre is there on a mission. She is like,
Yes.
I'm going to ruin you beyond anything you did to me. You are not going to recognize this court. Like, this is it. She's playing like weak. It starts with like when she's going to see Iant the first time and like pretending to be meek and like the like, don't you ever do that again, and lets her think that like she's friends with her again so that she can slowly like fuck Iant over and like makes Tamlin promise things will be different. And he does. To be fair, he does actually let her have a little more freedom. But the Hybern sends Jurian and the twins to the house. Brong and something with a D. Dad. I meant to look it up, guys. You know, names are not my strong
Rana.
suit. Yeah, something like that.
Creepy twins. We got creepy twins.
Dagdon.
Dagdon.
Dagdon. Ron. Whatever. Creepy twins. I'll refer to them as that from here on out.
Yeah.
But they show up, and Feyre can tell right away that they are also Damate.
Yeah.
When they can reach in minds, and she blocks them and blocks out everyone's brain away and kind of like sets that up with them that she's going to do that. And so they start off on like the wrong foot from each other right away, like kind of sizing each other up. Meanwhile, she's putting into place that she has kind of started bonding with Lucien again, flirting with him a little bit while seeming like she's interested in Tamlin. She's setting Iant up to look bad, kind of counteracting her on things. And she's going to look at the wall with the twins and get a feel for like what's going on with them. She ends up basically the turning point for her and them. Like every day she's kind of getting a headache and she's kind of feeling these headaches coming on, but kind of thinks like, doesn't think much of it, thinks it's because she's protecting everyone's brains. And she's like getting along with Tamlin, giving him little hints. It kind of sets it up so that the first time he comes to see her in her room, she's had a nightmare right before it and is with Lucien. And is like, is upset and blocks it so that he starts to question what's going on with her and Lucien.
Yeah.
And then the twins, they're looking at the wall, and then there's a moment where these humans, children of the
the children of the blessed who like showed up for a second in the first book.
Yeah, people who want to live in Parinthia, who beg to like go live with the
humans
fairies.
Who want to be with the fairies. Yeah.
Yes. And they show up, and the twins are like so interested in them and want them to like come through. And Feyre's like, no, and she breaks into their brains and makes them like go back, even though they were going back. Like one is beaten by her parents, one is like starving, one's forced to sex. Like they have horrible lives, but it's still better than dying on this side of the wall. And she sends them away, and the twins aren't really happy about it. And the next morning when she wakes up,
the twins want to play with them. The twins want to bring them in and like toy.
They want
to
kill them. They want to eat them and kill them. Yeah, but because they like Hibernans do not care about humans. They are slaves. They don't give a shit about them. But Jurian is like, but he has to like keep his cool because he's with Hybern's guys. But when Feyre sends him away, he does give her a moment of like, thank you, because he's still human. Like that was his side. And the next morning, though, they wake up and the twins had gone and found them and killed them, the kids. And that's like a big turning point. Her and Lucien band together, and they go and track down the bog, and they send it after the twins. And Tamlin's like, Rory's like, you sent the bog after them? And they're like, and she's standing up, she's like, yes. And she's saying it, make sure people can hear, like, they're innocents. We're all innocents. And she's making sure every time she fights and stands with Tamlin is like being overheard and being heard by people. And she gets him to the point that he loses his temper, but this time she doesn't shield herself, and she lets herself be taken out and like shoved into the wall and hurt purposely because she wants people to see what he did. And Lucien comes bursting like, what did you do? And the two guards behind them are all in shock, but Tamlin hurt her, and she's letting herself like bleed and be bruised. And she does too good of a job, she's thinking, because the injuries actually last for a couple of days, but she's making sure while she's injured, she goes out for a horse ride. So they see her being like kind of martyred and tough. And setting up that storyline with them. And then Iant, because she's annoyed that she's not getting attention from the twins, and she's doing a ceremony of welcoming them, and Feyre moves her like altar over by like 5 feet so that the sun that Iant has set up to come through her hands actually hits Feyre, and Feyre gets to be godlike. And then she adds her own magic to it, so she's even brighter and looks chosen, and Iant is kind of like pushed to the side and really annoyed. So in turn, Iant starts talking about a rot that's coming, and the Naga, and like that they should care and do praying because the Naga are coming. And she sets up this poor guard to have lost his keys nights before, and then brings Naga to the gate and lets them like be unleashed and sets it up to look like this guard's fault, and is like, he needs 20 lashings and and one for the courtesy of us doing it. And Feyre breaks in the guard's mind and like lets him remember that it was actually her, that it was Ian that did this. And he's like, it was her. And everyone can know Ian protests like too many times, and everyone can tell like at this point, okay, she's obviously lying. But Tamlin, because the twins are there and Jurian can't look weak and he has to like follow through, which Feyre knew would happen. And so he does the 20 lashings, and all of the sentries are so disappointed in Tamlin and feel so betrayed because they've laid their life on the line for him. They went out to be shot by Feyre. Like, they've been loyal to the core, and he has just like taken Ianthe over them.
Yeah.
In a very public way. And they go there, so then Feyre stays and like helps him and like helps his wounds all night with a healer, changes the blood water, like is there. And even the next morning, like checks in on the guards again. Like, she's really buying all their favor. And it is also who she is as a person. It's not like fake, but she's pointing out the cracks in the kingdom.
Yes.
And then she goes to the twins to the wall again and decides like, okay. And Rhys is like livid down the bond. He's like, are you hurt? What? Like, she can feel his like, he's like, I want you home. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but like, I want you home soon. Like, I can't handle this. And so she's like, okay, this is going to be the time to go. And meanwhile, Jurian's been picking up on the little things she's been doing. Like, he's like, I find it crazy that the, Dark Lord that everyone knows is Rhys isn't tearing the world apart to get his mate back. Like, that's weird. And he says, like, I knew Rhys when he was just another army fellow. Like, they fought in the first war together. And so he knows what kind of guy Rhys is, and he knows deep down that all this is a mask, or he suspects it. And suspects it, no matter like what indeed it was. So he's kind of like onto her a little bit. And so they go, and Tamlin comes this time because Ianthe like insists, because she's like questioning her with Lucien. And so at one point he disappears to go hunting for food, and she's like, okay. The twins tell her that they need to find a spot in the wall for the cauldron to break it. It needs to go into a broken spot because something's slightly off with the cauldron. It's not working the full way it was. Otherwise they wouldn't need a hole, but they need a hole
that came out of it.
Exactly. That's what they figure out. So she gets it info. Is like, okay, I'm ready to go. Got her stuff. She's about to leave, and then she hears Ianthe and Lucien, and she's like, just ignore it. Just go. But she can't. She goes back, and Ianthe has Lucien with the like blue chains that are hybrid special that null powers chained to a tree, and is basically trying to rape him. Like, she's like, no, he's like, I'm a mated male. Like, don't touch me. Doing it. She won't. Feyre's had enough. She makes Ianthe break her own hand with a rock, like continually break it, and puts into her head that she will live in fear, knowing if she ever touches another male without their permission again, that someone will come and kill her, and she'll live with that fear every day of her life, and that she can heal it, but she can't get rid of the scars.
She'd gotten the story from Rhys.
Rhys said yes. Right. She tried to seduce Rhys years and years ago before Amarantha. Like, begged to come to the court. He finally let her, mostly because he was curious what she was up to, and then found her like naked in his room, and that he like threw her out. But that she's like always been, that's part of the reason he hates Ianthe. Like, she's always been after her power. She's always been trying to spread her legs to get it. Like, there's a thing about her. So that was already planted in Feyre's head. So this time she breaks her hand, tells her she can heal her hand, but not the scars. And that basically, I would kill you, but I think it's better for you to live in fear for the rest of your life of something coming after you.
Yeah.
And then they turn, and Lucien's like, you're leaving. And they turn around, and the twins are there. And the twins are like, have you not noticed your headaches and diminishing power? Like, you think we didn't see you scheming and we weren't also? And it turns out they've been feeding her Faven so that her powers have been slowly diminishing. And the apple she ate today was like grown in a field hybrids of Faven. Like, it's completely knocked it out for at least 2 days now. She will be, and she feels the last of her power. Like, it's slowly draining from her. She takes them on, fights it. Her and Lucien both fight them. And Lucien and all of them are shocked that she can like go toe to toe with Dagon. And basically they end up killing the twins together. And Lucien is now like, you're leaving. He's like, I'm coming with you, because he wants to get to Elaine. He needs to get to his mate, and he doesn't think he'll ever see her if he doesn't do it. Like, he's shocked and he's upset she's leaving, but also is like, okay. And so they venture off together with no power. They use the door to escape into the autumn court. And he's also like, it's the autumn court. Like, my family will kill you. You need me to help you. Yeah. So all the food they pack, they can't trust it. They're going on this adventure.
My gosh. Can we have a quick timeout? Because this is like, we're going on this part of the adventure. I was so bummed. As somebody who loves autumn and fall, I was so bummed reading these. Like, the autumn court is so nasty and terrible and like this vicious place. I was like,
with the fire. No. I know. It doesn't, it's pretty. It has the coziness, but it has the under fire. Well, but I mean, that is fall. Like, it is beautiful and colorful and cozy, but you can get those nasty days in fall that you're just like, oh, I wasn't ready for this. Like,
right? I just, it was always one of those things for me in these books. I was like, too bad the autumn court is such a shitty place.
It's anti-us autumn girls. But they just need the right person, I think, could bring it back to the. And who knows, Eris might
Right?
end up being that.
It
But
could
that's getting
happen.
ahead of myself. Who
It
knows? In
is,
this
yeah.
last book, there's a chance whenever it's written.
There's a chance.
Yes. So now, and she like set up in some of the sentries' heads that they are going to have the memory come to them in 2 days that Tamlin let the twins attack her and she fled for her life in fear of Hybern, and that Tamlin let it happen. And so that's
Yeah.
what all of his court is going to think happened in the woods. She set that up.
Mhm.
So now they're in autumn, and basically they at some point they're traveling together. She's kind of giving Lucian bits and pieces about why and what and like how he failed her, and he's trying to like come to terms with it. They're kind of talking and not talking, but he's impressed with like her ability to fight and like who she is, and he's like, wow, that girl really did die under the mountain. Like you truly planned all of this. Like he can't believe
Yeah.
it, and how much she
Yeah.
fell for it too. And
Mhm.
then they get attacked by his brothers. They find them in the autumn court. It's a big battle. She's able to get like a wisp of magic. They get away. They're running. And then they're basically almost like on death's door, like fighting against Will of Powers almost should come back, but they're in winter and it's freezing. They have no food. They have no magic. And then his brothers find them on this lake and are like trying to melt the lake. Like it's coming to this point of like, this is
Yeah.
where it's going to end. And just
You're
as the
reading, you're
battle
like,
is
I
getting
got a
there.
lot of book left, but they're about to die.
Yeah, it's getting bad. And then
Yeah.
Cassian shows up, cracks onto the ice,
Yeah.
and she like looks in his eyes and he gives her a look like reminding her, like, I've trained you for this. Like when you're captured and do that to make enough space for him to be able to get in there. She remembers, basically takes Eris out by kicking him in the nuts and punching him in the face, and then Cassian finishes. And before Cassian can kill him, she's like, enough. And he listens instantly, Cassian. And Azriel and
Well, 'cause she's
Lucian.
the High Lady.
Exactly. That's what gets revealed. She says enough, and they're going, and Eris is like, why would they listen to you? And she's like, I am High Lady of the Night Court. And she reveals the tattoo she's had glamored on her arm this whole time. And Lucy's in shock. Azriel and Cassian are happy because they already know this, obviously. But she declares it to Eris, who then is like shocked. Everyone's shocked and is like, I will let you live. This is the message you will pass on. And like, we'll remember this one day. And my favorite moment that I've always loved is then Cassian scoops her up. Azriel has to carry Lucian, and they look super awkward and going. But once they're up in the sky and they're finally safe and free, and Cassian just looks down at her and is like, hiya, Feyre. Like they just have a moment of saying hi to each other and then like hug.
Yeah.
And it's just like the sweetest thing. I've always loved that moment. They're just like checking back in as friends.
Yeah.
They get to the townhouse. And Lucian is like, what is this? Because he only knows of the Night Court. He thinks they're going to be in Hewn City, but they're in Valaris. And she's like, this is my family. This is my home. And he's so like shocked. He's like, there are children laughing in the street. Like, what is happening? And Amrit there and Moore is waiting for them at the edge of the Winter Court and winnows them back to the house. And she's like, he's coming. He was far away, but he's coming. So they kind of like see her for a moment. And then Rhys shows up. And it's just, she like sees him and like falls to the ground. He rushes to her, gets on his knees and like holds her face and is like, my love. And they just have this like moment of the best, like kisses her and then picks her one swoop and is like, go somewhere else for a while to the house. And everyone just leaves. And he just winnows upstairs to the bedroom. And they take a moment of just like breathing each other in, being happy they're alive, that they're okay. They have, and she's like, you don't want to like talk about what I saw, or somebody's like, no, like again, being the right choice for her. It's like, no, that's later. Like we need time right now.
Yeah.
And then they have really hot, delicious.
They do. And it's like this
reconnect.
Lovely sort of slow, like it starts downstairs and then he gets everyone out of there.
Yeah.
And then they get upstairs. And as the reader, you're like, they're finally back together. We're just going to get it on. You know what I mean? But then he's like, and she's like, no, you need my information. He's like, not yet. And then you think, okay, now clothes are just going to come tearing off and they're going to be having this great face sex. And then he's like, maybe you want to take a bath. But like, and then she like takes a bath. And then, but there's like this kind of constant like gentle connection and checking in with one another and this like nice like foreplay, and then she gets to get it, all this stuff, and then you just get this like gorgeous sex scene, and you're like, oh yeah,
and in the right way, like because he did think she was dead. He thought when the bond was dark, he kind of explains where he was or what was happening before they can get that, and builds her up to it, and then it's like it's that mate sex, so it's like the souls joining sex. It's a totally different thing, and then it's like
totally,
but it warms, you're right, it takes us all, it gets us out of the battle mode, out of Tamlin, and she like warms everyone up for it, so then when they finally have it,
you're like,
you can be there and caught up, and you're not wondering about the other things. They've caught you up as well, and you're like, okay, we're all okay for a moment, we can enjoy this, and it's safe.
But you're like, okay, also like I mean, it was check, you know, I needed a little
Yeah, you need it. And they do the rest of this book, like, they do sprinkle in,
They do.
the moments. She's really good at finding it between the war and all the stuff that happens in this book. They sprinkle in these moments between the two of them that are so hot, and, like, and then they start having some wing play, and they start like, there's so many things that start
Oh,
coming in. So now they're back, they're reunited, and she's like, and right before, I wanna add, right before they do sex, she's like, "My sisters, where are they?" And he like,
yeah.
"Right, they're at the House of Wind, I'll take you there." And she can see it's literally, like, would kill him to have to, like, release her. She's, like, naked out of the bath and do it, but, like, he would do that for her. And then she's
Mhm.
like, "No, no, no, we'll go. We'll do
Yeah.
this first,
Yeah.
and then we can go see my sisters."
Yeah. Especially considering, like, still, her sisters are like, they're not deserving of, like, she rushes to them right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, they are,
Please
they
to
did go
check
through a
in with
lot,
them,
but
and they went through a lot,
but
but
still.
yeah.
So they go to visit the sisters, they bring Lucy in, and she gets to decide, like, what's gonna happen with him. Like, Rhys is like, "It's now up to you, you're the High Lady. What do you
Mhm.
want to happen with Lucian?" And she kinda, like, raises his mind and gets a feel for it. Like, he just wants to see Elaine. It's like, "Even if it's just once, I just wanna see Elaine and see how that goes." Well, she decides, like, "Okay, you can stay here, but there's gonna be rules. Like, you can't go onto their floor. You can't go here. That basically, you can stay here. You can go into the city if you wish, but you have to use the stairs. There's no winnowing." Because there's a
Mhm.
small part that's worried that he'll just grab Elaine and winnow away. But they agree to house him, give him clothes, have him there, but, like, they're just kinda, like, feeling it out still.
Mhm.
Nesta is in a library reading. She comes across her, and, like, there's something different about her. She doesn't know what, but there's something. And Cassian
Mhm.
is there, and it's clear he's been visiting her and talked to her, and they have, again, they're fighting, like, words with each other that Nesta just
Mhm.
always shuts him down. Is annoyed by
Yeah.
him. And Farrah's happy to see her, but it's clear, like, she blames Cassian and Farrah for what happened to her, and because
Mhm.
Elaine is so destroyed. Elaine has lost weight, she's not eating, she's
Yeah,
not leaving her
Elaine is
room, she's
just
crying
yeah.
every day. She is devastated that she's losing her fiancé. Like, she's supposed to be married in a couple weeks, and he hates
Mhm.
fairies, and this is not gonna obviously
And
go
now
her
she's a
way.
fairy. So, yeah.
Yeah, so she's lost, like, everything that was Elaine that was kind and sweet and light about it. Like, she's just a shell. She's just
Yeah.
existing.
Yeah.
And it kills, they're able to see that, and Lucian and everyone, they're just like, they don't know what to do for her. They're trying.
Well, and
Um,
even as the reader, you're like, "Oh, no," because at least she was, like, somewhat kind, like, sh
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You feel really bad.
yeah,
Like, this is
you do.
not the ideal situation,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
So they are there and they're figuring out what to do because, again, Hybern's coming. They've now destroyed Tamlin. Like, the next thing they need to do is they're going to have to get all the courts to come together. That's part of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they go to visit. No, they already did visit the Bone Carver the first time. That was in the last book.
Yeah. That was
Yes.
in the last book. They
Yeah,
already
yeah, yeah,
visited him
yeah.
once.
They already visited him. So they are training. Farrah decides she wants to learn how to have wings.
Mhm.
Even if it's only one, she just has this feeling like she should learn how to fly. Azriel says he'll
Mhm.
help her because he learned later in life than the rest of them. So he agrees, and they're all doing research on the cauldron, on
Mhm.
the book, on things that could possibly help, on things that happened in the last war.
To fight
She
against
To
Hybern.
fight against Hybrid.
Yeah.
She learns about the library that's in the city of Valaris that has some high priestesses. Cloth is her name, is the
It's in
Clotho
the House of Wind. Yeah,
in the House of
Clotho.
Wind.
And yeah.
And it's basically a sanctuary for any women that have been abused or want to hide away. It's
Mhm.
their sanctuary. They run the library, and it keeps all of the important tombs and things that survived the war there. And she learns, like, a lot of fairies destroyed a lot of their books because they were scared about the humans getting their hands on them the last time and the last treaty.
Mhm.
And they're trying to find any information on the wall they can on when the wall was resurrected so that they can try
Yeah.
to see if they can stop Hybern from destroying the wall again.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Amryn has started training Nesta to try to see whatever power she has, if there's anything she can do, because they think because she was made from the cauldron's wall, she might be able to repair the wall. Because if they can repair the
Yeah.
holes in the wall, then the cauldron can't destroy it. That much
Well,
they
they
know.
know that all 3 sisters who were made in some way, like, have this extra ability. Elaine
Yes.
is useless because she basically can't even
At this
speak.
point, they don't know if
Um,
she has anything. She hasn't shown
yeah,
where Nesta has shown her eyes, but also Amryn knows there's something with Nesta. Like, she
yeah.
knows
Cameron can tell.
something's
She's like
happening there. Yeah.
and something that's more connected to what something that Amryn can feel because Amryn is like this other being from
Yes.
another realm.
Yes,
And there's
exactly.
something more like that going on with Nesta than,
Yes.
like, straight fae of this realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since the cauldron, something's broken. Well, the thing that's broken is that Nesta they took something that she
Mhm.
might be able to fix the wall. So
Mhm.
they've kind of started training her in that. Fair. They're all like looking for research. They need to get the armies together. Um,
Mhm.
so they go to Hewn City to talk to Kier to see if they can get him to agree, because part of the treaty with Hewn City is that it's his army and he only has to assist Rhys if he wants to.
Yeah.
Like that's part of
And
like the two
you're
different
also
parts of
kind
the
of
Night
thinking
Court.
like, we're gonna fucking need like the Hewn City nightmare warriors to fight Hybern, right?
Yeah,
So
they
you're
need
like,
everyone to fight Hybern.
yeah.
Basically. And Hybern's like what Vera is able to see through the twins' minds, when she gets and things that they've been able to figure out is that the
Mhm.
Hybern, and from the Ator, is that Hybern is like the vast amount of people that he has raised for his army is an insane amount. And he's got these
Yeah.
other continents agreeing to like work with him. So they've been working to keep the other continents kind of fighting with each other so that they won't have time to help Hybern.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what they're trying to do there. And then they're also, and they can't go back for the cauldron. So all they can try to do is like fix the wall at this point. But they know
Mhm.
what they're up against, and so they're trying to get the other courts to come together. They've sent out letters to them, and then Fair starts to have the idea like, what if we unleash the Weaver or the Bone Carver? Like, what if we make him the same promise you have with Amryn, that if
Mhm.
he comes and aids us, then we can set him free. And so she
Yeah.
goes to the prison again with Cassian to go talk to him, and he tells them one about Nesta, that she's took something from the cauldron, a piece of it that's
Mhm.
gonna want back, that she's basically death. And Feyre realizes that he is her and Rhysand's future son. That's what he's showing her with the little
The
boy, the
image
face,
of.
the image of.
Yes.
She sees Rhys's face and her mouth and realizes that it's her future son if they survive the
Mhm.
war. And he basically says that he is here in this prison by choice. He wants to
Mhm.
be in there. He has no interest in leaving with them. That his sister, who's the Weaver, and his other brother, who's Cotchild's his name, or Colchiel, we haven't met him
Yeah.
yet, but they
Yeah.
were the gods of death, and that
Mhm.
they are so powerful that he would rather hide and be in this prison for the rest of his time here than go out, than ever come across them again. Like, he has no
Yeah.
interest in it. And they are contained. That a Fae long ago contained, because they couldn't be destroyed, they can't be killed. They could only contain them. The sister being contained in the middle in her cottage,
Mhm.
and the brother somewhere else, and then we don't know where yet. But then he agrees at the end that he will help if she will get the Oberys mirror.
The Ouroboros mirror.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Ouroboros mirror. Once he realizes she is High Lady, I mean that he will go and get if she gets the Ouroboros,
Ouroboros mirror. Yeah.
that, then he will think about fighting with them, basically,
Mhm.
is what he leaves it with. So they go to Hewn City, and Rhys already knows that Kier's going to be asking him more. Is just like, don't do anything. Don't make any bargains with him. Do
Mhm.
it. Well, they go to meet him. First, Kier suggests like that the bargain would be fair. Like if you would trade
Yeah.
fair for a night with him, which Rhys just gets like insanely angry about,
Like, as
obviously.
if,
Like
right?
losing is, yeah, and is like, listen, because of our treaty, like you do get to say if your armies come with us, you don't get to choose for me to keep you alive if I'm tired of your existence, basically. It's what he says. So that was the warning. And then Eris shows up, who was the one that
Yeah.
attacked Farah and that her and Casey took out, and is the Lucian's brother and a son of the Autumn King, High Lord. And they're like, Moore is so upset because of her history with Eris that we know about, that he's the one that she was supposed to be engaged to when
Mhm.
she went and fucked Cassian instead. And so Eris broke the betrothal and left her at the border of,
Autumn
I think,
Court.
of Autumn Court, Night Court, with like a
Yeah.
note nailed into her chest saying that the betrothal was done or something like that.
Yeah.
So, or no, her family left her there with that
Her
note in,
family
and then
left her there.
Eris didn't
Eris.
touch her and left
Mhm.
her. So he shows up, and then Moore is like so betrayed. Like, how can you have him come in and not have warned her? And even Vera's like, why didn't you
Mhm.
warn us? And Rhys knows what Kier is going to ask. He wants to be able to allow to go to the city of Valaris. Now he knows about it too. After the attack of the Ator, everyone knows
Mhm.
about it. And he's like, I find myself sympathizing with Hybern. Like, I actually would like some freedom. We're stuck under here. And so Rhys agrees. And even though Moore's like, no, you can't. And Rhys agrees that they will be allowed to go into the city of Valaris for certain, like, limited amount of times, limited amount of people. But he makes this
Yeah.
agreement with him. And the other party sweetening the deal with is that Eris will align with, I've forgotten his name now.
Kier?
Kieran, yeah. He will
Yeah.
align with him because he's always wanted that alliance, and that fell apart when Moore didn't marry him. And so
Yes.
that's
Yes.
the two things basically they give him. Then he leaves. And Moore is beside herself. And
Mhm.
Eris actually tries to explain, because Feyre is like, tell me, like, what did you possibly do? And even with your brother, like, because he's trying to say he's not as bad as his dad. He's like, we're kind of in an alliance now. I'll give you some info. And basically, he says, like, when Lucien's girlfriend was killed in front of Lucien, he wasn't there. And he's the
Mhm.
reason he tried to talk his dad out of it and was punished for it. And he's the reason Lucien was brought to the Spring Court in the first place. Like, he got him out into the border and basically saved Lucien's life, even though Lucien doesn't know this. And so
Yeah.
he kind of starts to like, maybe he's not as bad as he's bad, but he's not as bad as we think. And then he also says to more like, I would never have touched you. And then once you slept with him, like I knew what you wanted. So I gave you what you wanted and
Mhm.
like canceled the betrothal in the most in a no questions asked way. Like everyone would know it was finalized. But he feels it's the one thing he regrets is what happened to her with her family. He
Yeah.
says that. Like he basically kind of it's not redeeming, like he's a bad guy, but he lays some things on the table. You're like, okay, it's not
He's
as
setting
quite
his
as bad as
little
we thought.
nuggets that there's more there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's not quite as big of the enemy as we thought he was.
Yeah.
And then they leave, they go back, and Moore is just like so upset with Rhys. And they get in this huge
Mhm.
fight. And is like, what if Amaranth showed up the door and I was gonna help? And he's like, I would whore myself to for another 100 years. I would do all these things if it meant trying to save you guys. Like I'm
Mhm.
sorry I didn't tell you, but like this needed to happen. This had to be. And
Yeah.
even Amron ends up saying, like, you made the right call, you did the right things, but you did it badly. You should
Yeah.
have told her. You shouldn't have let it
Yeah.
be a blindsided thing. And like kind of and he
Mhm.
gets that. And he even tells Feyre after, like, I would kill her. Like if Amaranth did show up the door before she could even talk, I would kill her. Like and they're starting to fracture, and that's when they pull together. Like, we can't fracture within. If we're going to do this war,
Yeah.
like we have to stay together as a unit. It's more important than anything. And they kind of agree. And that's when Amryn actually tells them her story. So it's the first time we find out what Amryn is. And essentially, she was a soldier for the gods of death sent here. And the way she
Mhm.
escaped the prison is that she had to give up her like absolute immortality. And now she's still
Mhm.
immortal, but only in the same way Faye are. Like she can be killed because she confined herself to a human body or to a Fae body.
Yeah.
And once she did that, she gave up her true godlike immortality and had to take on
Yeah.
feelings and care. And she never had any of that. And she said, like, if I ever get free of this body, like, I won't remember you. I won't care about you. I won't.
Yes.
Like, that
She's like,
context
because
came.
God power doesn't have,
Yeah.
it's not partial one way or another. Like it just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. And so if she goes
Yeah.
back to that, like, if she does set herself free, this relationship, this part will be gone. But he still promises, like, you can do that if you wish, basically.
Yeah. And like that's our goal to help you get there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So, and Nesta came down too, and she was like trying to do things and trying to do tests for Amryn and then wasn't successful and was feeling kind of negative. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
Elaine has been like, keeps all of a sudden like just saying little snippets. She's kind of bonding with Azriel. He's been helping her go out in the sun to the garden. She's like, a white and black raven are coming, and like the princess with
Yeah.
fiery flamed feathers. And they're like, oh, Elaine's lost her mind. Like they
Yeah.
all just think she's crazy.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's up, at least she's out of her room, but she's talking nonsense. And like Lucien is like, talk to her for a few minutes. And she's like, who are you? Why? And he's like, explains to her. And she just doesn't care. Like he's trying to like
Well,
fight
you
the
get this real
feelings.
sense of like this is interesting because this is one of those times where we always argue, well, not argue, but we always are like have this problem with the guy not being like, you're my mate to the gal. Meanwhile, this is the time where Lucien has like straight up like, you're my mate to Elaine, and she's like, holy fuck, like no, stay
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, I have no way. I'm engaged to someone else. I don't care.
I'm
Which
engaged
would
to someone
have
else. I'm
been
in love with someone
Farrah's
else. I don't
reaction
know
too.
who you are. Yeah, exactly.
If
So
Rhys
then
had
you
told her
start
right
to
at the
be like,
get-go, yeah.
you start to see like maybe you don't want to know right away.
And there is a world that like timing, but I feel like the guys when
Yeah.
we're frustrated, it's always past the point that you're like, okay, you could
Yes.
have like, at some point
Yeah.
now brought this up. But yes, yeah, in this case, he did. And it's interesting. It's a really cool writing tool that Sarah J. Maas used because it
Mhm.
lets us learn about the bond in another way. Because we know how it
Yeah.
works when it's like snapped in, but like it lets like Rhys and Feyre discuss like what's the history of a bond? Like what do people actually think it is? Why does it exist? And he's like, it probably just boils down to biologically someone that would give you your strongest offspring, most likely.
Yeah.
Something is
Yeah.
ordained by God. Some try to fight it. And like it allows them to tell the story of like what happens to people that have refused a bond before, what happens to people that don't. Like it really opens up that world in a fun way because we are watching them fight it.
Yeah.
Not Lucien fight, but Elaine. And
Elaine fight.
And then Elaine, they bring a healer for Elaine because she's been like spitting nonsense. And she's like, nothing is wrong. Perhaps have her mate talk to her. He might be able to sense something. Like, as far as I can tell, Like, but she's something different than I've ever encountered. There's a
Yeah.
block on her brain because of the cauldron.
Yeah.
So let him try. And he does, and he just sits there and is kind of talking to her. And he's always like so sweet and like ambly,
Yeah.
but then he finally pulls on the tug, and then she's like, whoa, what is that? Like, and then
Mhm.
she just like leaves. She's
Yeah,
like,
she
sunshine,
freaks
and
out.
walks out. And he's like, it's
And
an
then
actual thing. Like, it's like a thread. Like, it actually is there, kind
yeah.
of to himself.
Yeah.
Um,
It's also
and
wild because this whole time we're getting little Azrael's always kind of like watching her and
well,
seems to
that's
have
the
a
whole thing
scent.
that builds, right? There's a slow burn of Azrael in her
Just
because
slow build,
he's
very
the first
slow.
person she responds to, the first person she lets take her outside and gives more
Yeah.
than just the mindless, like, nods to. There's
Yeah.
something about them. There's something those two connect on, which is like
Mhm.
part of the heartbreak of this series. For most people that have read this, is always like, you want Azrael and her together, but like she's already
Mhm.
with a mated male. And
She's mated to
it's
Lucian. So you're just like,
it sucks. It sets you up right away for this like love chain. Like there's no way out of
yeah.
this. Like they are bonded.
Yeah.
And that's what the 6th book will eventually be, is Elaine's story. That's not giving
I think
anything
so
away.
too.
Spoiler. No, it's already
No.
been told. Like it is her story. We
Okay.
already know that.
Okay.
But that's a big part of it, and where that's going to go, because
Mhm.
we never get an answer on it. And
So
it's hard.
curious.
Yeah, she wrote herself into an interesting corner, because no matter who she now picks for Azrael, which there's a lot of speculation about, we can talk about when we get in the 5th book, because she's in the 5th book.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ever going to care enough to be satisfied.
I know.
We'll see. That's something we'll answer
We'll see.
down the road.
We'll see. It's just
Yeah.
interesting because it really starts to play here as Elaine starts to kind of come out of
Yeah.
out of
Fully.
thing in this moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
she's
keep
still in love with her human. Anyways,
Yeah.
then Feyre and Nesta go to the library, and then they get attacked by 2 of hybrids. They call themselves his ravens, a white one and a black one,
Yeah.
which is what Elaine had predicted. But
Mhm.
Feyre discovers, like, in the bottom of the library is this thing that Cassian saw
Mhm.
once and is like, never go down. Like, Rhys says he dared
Yeah.
Cassian once, and he was so pale, and like, it took him a long time to get over it, that he's never gone down there again to question it. Feyre runs down to that, and the thing is there, and it's like, "Your high lady," talks to her head. She's like, "Yes." She's like, "Do you want me to help you?" She's like, "Yes." And she strikes a bargain with it that it wants someone to come and hear its life story. But she doesn't say it's her,
Mhm.
and she doesn't say when, but she strikes the bargain. It's her arm, and the thing's like, "Close your eyes." And then it goes and like kills the ravens, or attacks them, almost kills them. Rhys and Cassian
Mhm.
show up. Rhys goes to talk to them to like find out what they were there for. They were sent by Hybrid. And then he's like furious, losing his mind. Like,
Mhm.
I can't believe they attacked you. They got into here, like, once again,
Yeah.
because of, I guess there's a spell that could be used one time to cleave the wards, and that King Hybrid's like
Mhm.
biding his time and finally used it so that these ravens, because they were coming to try to get Nesta. They wanted
Yeah.
Nesta. So now they've learned that Nesta is now more important to the king than Feyre, because of
Yeah.
something she stole from the hybrid. That's what the ravens reveal, that like she stole something from the cauldron and they need it back.
Yeah.
And Nesta
Yeah.
reveals, she's like, "I made it, give me something back." This is when she
Mhm.
tells them, like, "I went in and I fought it with everything and I made it give me something back." And she doesn't know what
Mhm.
she actually is, but Lucian's like, that fire in her is like ice. Like, it burns like ice. It's not like
Mhm.
my fire, because he is the power fire. And Farrah's like, it's death. Like, she's somehow death incarnate. But they figure out like that he's looking for her and that he wants her to fix the cauldron.
Mhm.
And that the thing down there now has a bond with Feyre. And they decide and they realize Elaine saw this coming, and that Elaine isn't
Yeah.
crazy. She's a seer. She
Yeah.
foresees things that are coming in the future. And she
Mhm.
keeps telling about this queen, this princess with like feathers of fire. She keeps talking about it,
Mhm.
and how the old queen is also going to come. And
Mhm.
she keeps telling about that. And then they, now I'm trying to remember. I'm starting to blend,
I know.
because I'm trying to remember. I don't want to give something else away. Okay. They go to the meeting with the other courts.
Yep.
Everyone writes back that they agree they're going to meet. It takes them a while to figure out like where and when, and that's the fighting. They get there, and it's Rhys and Feyre, and they show her as the high lady. It's
Yeah.
Tarquin, the summer, Helion, which is the day court, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yes. Helion is dead. I
what's-
only know that because isn't that Helios is the god of sun in like Greek
Yeah,
mythology or
exactly.
something? So it's like that's
The winter court guy that I can't remember his name right now.
can't remember his name, but his partner, his mate is
His
super
wife.
interesting. His wife.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she's got a
like-
relationship with Moore. Her and Moore
Yeah.
are old
Are
friends. Yes.
Yeah.
And then everyone but Tamlin is there, basically.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
there. And this is when Rhys is like, Vera's told Rhys, like, you have to show your true colors. Like, you have to, the only way we're going to get all
Yeah.
these lords on our side. Oh, and the guy from Autumn is also there. with
Mhm.
Eris. But like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to reveal your true side for them to join with us. So they go and they're trying to like present who they actually are and what they've done. And obviously everyone is on the fence. But then Tamlin shows up.
Mhm.
He decides to show up even after he's already sold them out and he just lets loose on Feyre. He calls her a whore. He makes all his comments with Rhys and like tries to make all the guys in the high court like not go on their side. Basically tries to work
Yeah.
against them. So all these like horrible, horrible things about Feyre, like cuts her to the bone. Rhys is losing his temper.
Mhm.
And it's go horrible, but everyone's got and obviously Tarquin's also pissed because when they went there and like destroyed their friendship by stealing the
Yeah.
book in the first place, like things are a little tumultuous and they don't quite get everyone to agree yet. Like they know that Winter will go on their side, Helion will go on their side, but they
Mhm.
don't know yet about Tarquin. He's going to think about it now that they've revealed and shown about Valaris and like kind of seen that side of them.
Yeah.
Autumn is still on the fence. Like even though Eris like he will do it, they don't trust Berlin or
Well,
something is his name.
yeah.
Baron.
Eris. Oh, we've got it's Lucian's dad. It's Lucian and
Yeah,
Eris's dad.
Berlin or Barron is his name. Yeah,
Byron, something like that.
Byron. Yeah, they're not
He's in,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not sure if he's telling the truth, if they can trust him, if he will do it or not. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how it gets left at that
Yes.
meeting.
Yeah.
And so they go back and they know the war is coming and they're not sure what's going to happen. But then Summer Court gets attacked and
Yeah.
they are the only court. They go to the. Actually, this might have happened before the meeting.
No, it happens after because they all go. I swear it happens after.
No,
Or
I'm
maybe
not sure because I
think
think
it
he says in
before,
the
and
meeting
that's
you're
why
the
the
only
meeting
people that came.
that came to help us. Yeah.
And that's why he
There's a
decides to side
battle.
with them.
There's a battle in Summer Court in there
Yes.
that got attacked, and then they go to help, and then I think you're right.
Yeah. Either I'm very sorry, guys. Either they meet twice or this meeting is when he's like, you're the only ones that came to help me. And it's because Amron's had continued to have a relationship with the prince. They're still, and so
Yes.
he sends word to her, and so they go and they help. And
Mhm.
and Tarquin ends up saying, like, you can consider the rubies void. Like, we are now
Yes.
back on equal playing field and on there.
Yeah.
And there is a moment when she's revealed the High Lady that the wife of the Winter is like, wait, you can do that? Like, oh, and they're just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, you've caused so many headaches for all of us.
Like, here we go.
Thanks. Now I have to explain why I didn't make my equal
Yeah.
partner. Like, it's really funny that way. That's
Yes, it's good. And you're like, well, it looks like everybody's going to have to step up.
yes, exactly. And I think they all realize she has their power. I can't remember if it's here
They
or when they're at
do.
the war. And they're pissed. They're all angry about the fact that she has a part of their power, as they predicted. Like, they're all beyond annoyed that she kept some of their power, but he makes him like, but now that she has, like, you didn't even notice it's gone. Like, then they're like, I did notice. Of course I noticed. Like, of course,
Yeah.
wondering where that colonel went. Like, everything's out in the open. But they agree that they will kind of go to war. They kind of have to like
Mhm.
bank on that.
Yeah.
And then are we going all the way, or do we want to, because this is kind of
this
the amp
now
up to the
we
big,
hit
now a
the
lot
war?
happens. Yes.
This is the war, right? Like this is when we go to war with Hybern. But I also think that the war with Hybern I think we can like overview this part.
Yeah. Okay. So
Let's
they
do
go
an
to
overview.
they go
This
to war.
battle. It's just, you guys, it's just a chaotic battle, but that is absolutely delicious. You got to read it to get all the bits. But there,
You just said that's so funny. You gotta read it to get
Got
the bits. Okay, so basically they're going to war, but here's the thing, because her dad shows up, the humans show up, Miriam and Dracon that they've been trying to find and haven't been able to find because basically they glamored the island too well that even their friends didn't know.
yeah.
They show up. Jurian turns. Okay. Wait. Before the battle, this is the part I knew
Yeah.
I needed to get to, and I knew I'd fuck up.
It's
Elaine
okay.
gets kidnapped. Basically, she gets
Yes.
like they get control of her mind, and she goes to Hybern, and Nest is losing it. They pull her so that Nest would go to save her, and Feyre's like, I'm going to save Elaine.
Mhm.
Her and Azriel are going to save Elaine.
Yeah.
Again, Rhys can't go, I think, because magic tracking again, because Hybern's got a thing on his magic, so he can't be there. But
Mhm.
they're going to go get her. And she sees Ianth is there at this camp, and Tamlin is at this camp, and people are. And there's this other girl that's being like strung up by a tree that is just an
Yeah.
innocent, like, human that Feyre wants to save, a Fae that they want to save and bring back to the library. But basically, they get to Elaine and the culture, and they find a way because she hides herself as Ianth. She disguises herself as
Yes.
Iant, glamours
Feyre
herself to be
does.
Iant, yes,
Mhm.
so that she can sneak into the tent. And she runs into Jurian on the way. And then
Mhm.
Jurian helps her. And Jurian is like,
Yeah.
no one would, like, you have to drag me into the tent to have your way with me. Like, he kind of gives her hints to, like, get away with this.
Yeah.
And she says, like, you have to go save that woman. Like, we can't leave without her. And he's like, okay, I'll meet you at the edge. Like, you do this
Oh
and
my
I'll do
God.
that. Like,
Even
he,
as the reader at this point, it's like, Feyre, you got to let some people die. We got to get out of here. You know,
yeah,
we gotta
I
get outta
know.
here.
And she can't. She sees this poor, like, priest and Sarah, and it's like, you go save her and I will get my sister. So she does. And she's starting to escape. And basically, the hounds catch on, and the Hybern's hounds start chasing them. And she's going, she gives her sister to Azriel, who's like taking her, and the other girl that Jurian gets to them. But Azriel can't take all three of them, and she can't win him. And she's like, I'm going to fight.
Yeah.
And as she's going, the hounds almost get her. And then Tamlin shows up. He's been there, but he comes in his beast form, and he starts attacking the hounds for her to let her
Yeah.
get away. He actually saves her. There's like this
Yeah,
little
he
gesture
does.
between them. And there's been visits from Lucy and back for Tamlin. And I think
Mhm.
it's after this that Rhys visits him. But anyways, Tamlin shows up, saves her, and she manages to get her wings out and fly for the first time. She's been trying to fly,
Yeah.
and she just gets enough air under her wings to get out, to fly and save. And she realizes, like, this whole thing, this whole training has been just for this moment, so that she could
To
save her
like
sister
fly
and
to a
escape.
point where she can winnow, right? Or
Yeah, they
something
have
like
to
that.
get out of the wards. She has to get
Yeah.
far enough out of the wards to be able to winnow. And if she doesn't
Yeah.
fly and do it, like, she has to get out, not just down.
Yeah.
She'll die, essentially. And she sees
Yeah.
Tamlin, like, still taking on the hounds, and she goes, and he's like, he says something to her, like, save yourself or be well, Feyre, or something like that.
Mhm.
And she does, and they get back. And so they save her, and now they're terrified because he can, like, kidnap Elaine, he can trip, because Ness has been trying to scry or look for the cauldron. That's how they found her, and that's how they're able to
Yeah.
get Elaine.
Yeah.
So once again, they're all back together. The war is coming. And as I said, all those people come together, this huge war. They release the Weaver. They release the Bone Carver, because she does look into Oberys. She survives it. And he's like, I've never met him. And he just gets up and walks out. He's never been trapped in the prison.
Yeah.
He just chooses, literally, as he said, to live there. Like, it's not, he's just like, okay,
Yeah.
let's go. And like,
Yeah.
him and the Weaver go into the battle. And they have like a smile on their face, and they see each other, and they're just like wiping people out. They're doing it
Oh, it's
all
so
over.
good.
It's this battle. People are winning. It seems like they might even be able to do this. But then the cauldron comes into play. And and her father is there. Her father shows
Yeah.
up. And
Out
is
of
battling.
left field. Out of left field.
Yeah.
Her dad
Yeah.
shows up with a
All of a
fleet
sudden, when it
tricks,
seems they're
like,
gonna lose, he's gotten the other
Yeah.
continents. That's what he's been doing. He finally, like, redeems himself
Yes.
for Feyre. And they realize the King Hybern has Elaine again, and Cassian and Nesta go to battle King Hybern.
Yes.
And Cassian's trying, and he wears him down. And Nesta and him kind of reveal their feelings for each other in this moment. That,
Mhm.
like, his only regret is that they didn't have more time for each other, and they kiss each other. And the
Yeah.
king kills her father in front of Nesta. Like, they have a moment of the father saying, like, I never left you. The ship is called the Nesta. Like, reveals, because Nesta the whole
Yeah.
time is like, the mother loved her, but the father didn't. And
Yeah.
only loved Elaine. Is going, again, this is a quick overview at this point. But
Oh, yeah.
he gets killed in front of her, destroying her. And then Hybern is trying to kill her, and Cassian she protects, but she lets out something. Some of
Mhm.
her power comes out and kills King Hybern. She's able to, like, decapitate him, and she kills the
Yeah.
king.
Yeah.
Huge thing. But
Yeah.
the cauldron's already been working up and is about to destroy. Amryn goes in, disappears in the cauldron to destroy it, comes out as this power to, like, overtake people. I might
Yeah.
be fucking this up, but basically Rhys and Feyre have to, like, close the cauldron because it's destroyed.
They
And
have
if the
to, like-
cauldron, they have to bring it back together. That's right. Amryn goes in,
Yeah.
destroys it, ends the war, it's done, but then the cauldron's starting to swallow away everything in black because it can't not exist. That's why they broke the feet off it
Exactly.
before. It has to exist or else the world does not exist.
Yeah.
So Vera is trying to use her power in the book to nullify it back together, and is doing that, and
Yeah.
pulls from Rhys. He's like, keep going. Like, you need enough power to do this. She does it. And then the cauldron comes back together, world save, and Rhys is dead behind her. She literally
Oh,
he gave every
God.
bit of power he has. And it's devastating.
Disaster.
And he hinted throughout the
Yeah.
whole book, she's like, he would give everything to save us. Like, she's known this would be enough. She keeps saying, like, you can't. But he does. He gives her everything. And it's so devastating. He's dead. The world's saved. It's gonna be without him. She can feel the bond. Like, but she reaches down, she's like, no. Tugging
Mhm.
on the bond, like, trying to find that thread, just like when she died. And she begs the lords to save him again, that everything he gave to save them, to save the cauldron. And they agree. Even Tamlin
Mm-hmm.
agrees, and they all give a drop of power again. And she's able to use that bond and like keep him there. She forces him to stay,
Yeah.
and he comes back to life. And it's this beautiful ending of it. He comes back to life, and he even tells them like, "Don't worry, lads. None of your power came to me. It's all stayed with
Yeah.
you. Good to go." Just so they don't have that whole fight again.
Right.
And then even Amryn ends up coming back out of the cauldron and is live, but is no longer has her like
Power
god
at
like
all.
power. She's just kind of like a
Yeah.
fae now. All of
Yeah.
her essence, her power before that she had is gone, but she's here.
Yeah.
Her and the prince guy are reunited, and they've all like for a moment everything is like Hybern is dead. His bad things are gone. Even that bog thing from the library came out to fight with them. Like they released all these things. It's this huge epic battle that we are really doing fast in 10 minutes, but worth the read. Oh my god, the heartaches, the Cassian, the Nesta and Cassian relationship, and like her and Rhys, and even like their sex, the steam rape before the battle, like all of it is there. It is an epic moment in this book. Epic. And I feel like Ainz dies. I hope she does. Something bad happens to her. She's somewhere. Something happens.
Is killed. Yeah, she's gotten rid of. In the battle, she dies in the battle, and it's like kind of fast. It's a quick moment. You're like, she's dead, and you
yeah, and like, okay, thankfully, done.
Yeah.
But everyone else lives. All the main players are alive. Somehow they didn't die. Only King Hybern and the father. The big thing is like the father died. And she did save that priestess. That priestess went to the library. That comes up in the next book.
She does. Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially the battle happens. Feyre's become a super powerful badass knight, high lady. Tamlin somewhat redeems himself for like a moment. He saves her there, and he saves Rhys.
Yeah.
And Lucian has decided he's going to go off with, well, I think it happens in the next book, but he ends up teaming with Jurian. And Jurian's redeemed himself a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Jurian redeemed himself. Tamlin slightly. Miriam and Dragon showed back up. The father showed back up and redeemed himself. It's a lot of redemption and battle.
There's a lot of like I feel like this one ends, and this kind of is like a close on the, not a full close, but like a lot wraps up of the first 3 books.
It could be. It really could just be done. Like this could have been the end of the series, and then the next book kind of loops us into the Cassian and Nesta story. So this really is. It's an event. Oh my gosh. It's an emotional roller coaster. It takes you through it. It's not a light read. It's a lovely read. No. It's fantastic. It should be part of your life. But it cuts out. It takes some back from you, just like Nesta in the Cauldron. It takes a little with you.
It does.
When you read it. And then it like ends in a great spot. But you go on a ride. It's definitely an adventure. It's not like a beach read. That's what I would say.
Could though. This is what I like about it. You could read it at the beach. It's not so dark. It's not weirdly,
no, it's not like alchemized dark.
Alchemized.
Yeah, it's not that. You're not being
that
abused.
One I'm like, I wouldn't take that to the beach. But this one you could, because you're on an adventure. You're leaving to another world, and you're on this adventure, and you get so pulled in, and there is so much happening and it's just like delightful. Like it's really
but what
fun.
I mean, because of that, that's what I mean. Like for me, a beach read is one that's like light and easy, and you can have a drink and still be like in it. Like this one, if you were like, you can't really tiptoe in and out of it. You're like in it. Like when you want to read it, when you can just read and really be like in it and enjoying it, and it will stay on your mind and it will follow you all day. And you don't want to be like snorkeling and thinking like, okay, but when is Cassian gonna like you? It's like it takes you for the ride is what I mean. It's one that stays with you. It's not just like a read a few chapters and like, oh, that's so nice, and put aside.
No, you're in the world. I mean, so my mom just read the first one. She hasn't read the second one yet. And they're traveling in Costa Rica and everything right now. And she was like, oh my gosh, like so good. And she was like, shades of Tolkien. And I was like, whoa. That also, yes.
Oh, that's
like
a huge,
the way that
the comparison of that has always been like people have always said Sarah J. Maas basically ripped off Tolkien, especially in the Throne of Glass series. So it's always been a comparison.
I really can't wait to read it. But I mean, but I love that. And I think Tolkien would love that. Now listen, Tolkien was like an Oxford professor, and all of his things have all this, but really he and C.S. Lewis kind of brought us modern fantasy.
Yeah, you've talked about this already.
Yeah, I think it's great then that Sarah J. Maas like uses that and brings in the romance and is, a seminal work of like romantasy. And I think it's fantastic. And I don't think, I wouldn't say, at least this one, maybe Throne of Glass, but like this one isn't like the same kind of journey, but it's the same
No.
epic level of world building and, like adventure that you get to get drawn into. And that's just so yummy. And that you can't really imagine ever anybody effectively turning into a screen adaptation.
I don't want it to be. I really don't want it to be.
They did wind up doing it with Lord of the Rings series, which I didn't want them to do, and they did a great job. I really don't want them to do that with this because I think they will absolutely destroy it and it'll make it look so shitty. But if they did pull it off, that would be extraordinary. But I just don't see how they can. I think.
Well, there's so much mental in this book. Like there's so much of their POV and what they're thinking, and even conversing mentally. That I just feel like you would lose so much because on screen you can't show. You can show with your eyes, but you don't get the internal thoughts. And I think it's such a big part of this book. But what you're saying about that, like that, it being that world and then bringing in the romance, like that's why this is such a good entryway into romantasy for people because it is such a nice balance, and it is that adventure, it is that world building, but it's world building light that you still get the romance. You still could do it on your beach and adventure. It's not like a typical like beach read when we make our beach read stories at the bookstores and that. It's not that, but it's not going to weigh you down. It's just going to suck you. It sucks you in, but it doesn't weigh you down.
Yes.
And so it's a great way to get used to that world where you do have these epic battles and these epic things, the hero's journey along with the romance. And it's balanced in such a great way in this series. Like her other ones are a bit darker. I would say this is the lightest of her 3 series. Okay. This is the lightest one for sure. Yeah. Into the romantasy.
Anyways, it's incredible. We are going to be back talking about books 4 and 5 because we think it's worth carrying on with. But I also want to say for people who just don't want to get stuck in a series for too long, this is an off-ramp point. Like if you're like, okay, I need something else now, you could take an off-ramp. I think you should stick with it. And we're going to talk about why.
No, read them all. They're there. Read them. That's silly. Don't stop. You got to know the next part. That's silly. I disagree. Don't take an off-ramp. Read it. No. You've come this far.
I love it.
You've come this far.
You've come this far. You're
there. Just do it.
Exactly. All right. On that note, we are going to say goodbye for this episode of Kate and Court's Cozy Corner, and we'll be back with more of A Court of Thorns and Roses. The saga continues in our next episode with A Court of Frost and Starlight. Something.
Frost and Starlight. That one I remember. And then Silver Flames.
Court of Silver Flames. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
We're almost there. And then we'll be back to romance.
We're so close. Exactly. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Settle in and grab a book, a comfy chair, your favorite nook with Kate and Court. Yeah, it's the Cozy Corner.
Thanks for tuning in to Kate and Court's Cozy Corner Romance Readers.
Executive producers and hosts, Caitlin Stryker and Courtney Richter. Producer, Kanesha No. Original music, Cassie DeSilva.